right. Good morning, class. I hope you're all
Morning,
doing
sir.
okay right now. So before we formally start, may I ask everyone to turn on your cameras for our attendance. Roma, please do the screenshot.
Hey, guys. One, two, three. Okay, sir.
Right. Thank you, Roma. And may I remind all of you that after our discussion, we will be taking another screenshot now for us to know who stays and who goes. All right. So now we will before to formally start, may I ask again Miss Rama Joy to lead us prayer.
Okay, sir. Okay, everyone, let's bow our heads and feel the presence of the Lord. Lord, we thank you for today, for giving us this day, Lord God, that we have another day to gain knowledge, to gain wisdom. Lord, I pray for our teacher, Lord, that you will give him wisdom to teach us the things we need to learn. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
All right. Thank you, Rama, for that beautiful prayers of yours. Now, before we proceed to our new lesson, may I ask someone who can recall what we talked about last meeting? Anyone? All right, Miss Shireen.
Sir, last time we tackled about verbs and its singular and plural form.
Right. Thank you, Shireen. All right. Now that we discussed those words like nouns and verbs, we will now proceed to a whole new lesson. But before that, let's first, please, may I ask everyone to give me a heart react if you want to play a game. Give me a heart react. All right. So to start, Miss Rama, please help me to share my screen, my PowerPoint presentation. All right. So before we start, we will be playing the game called Four Picture and One Word. So I know you are all familiar in this game. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you pictures, four pictures each item, and you will guess the word that is related to those pictures. So you can just comment in our comment box your answers, and whoever comments the correct answer first, he or she will receive plus points in our activity. So the first one is next, please. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I got disconnected. Are you still there?
Yes,
Still
sir.
here,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Let's start. number one. Number one is, let's start with number one. So what do you think is the word related to those pictures? You can type your answers in the chat box. All right. So Miss Shailene got the correct answer first. So the answer is cycle. That's correct. So the next one is, next please. All right. So the answer to the second item is letters. That's correct, Miss Roman. Okay. The third item is, all right, type in your answers. Okay. Media, network, anything else? All right. Again, the correct answer is channel. Very good, Rama. So the fourth question is, next please. So it's one word with seven letters. Rama answered delivery. Anything else? You can type your answer. Delivery. All right. So it seems like no one knows the answer to the fourth question. So the answer in fourth question is actually receiver. Receiver is the answer. So let's proceed to the last item, the fifth item. All right. Type in your answer. All right, that's correct. So Miss Reclita, type in the correct answer first. The answer is baker. All right. So please, everyone, give me a party react if you've enjoyed the little game that I prepared. All right. So before we begin to our lesson, may I ask if what do you think will be our lesson for today with those words that you've answered in our game? Anyone? What do you think will be the lesson with those words? Yes, Balite?
Sir, I think it will have to be something about communication.
All right, that's correct. So today we will be talking about, next week, we will be talking about the nature, the elements, and functions of communication. So next week, so at the end of our lesson, the students are expected to, first is to define communication and its nature, identify the elements and function of communication, and explain the steps involving the communication process. So to start, let us define what is communication first. Next, please. All right. So according to McCornack, communication is a process of sharing and conveying messages or information from one person to another within and across channels, context, media, and culture. So to simply put, communication is a way or is a process of exchanging information or sharing your thoughts, your beliefs, or your opinions, or even your emotions and actions to one person to another or to a group of person. So also, a communication can be done in two things. First is verbal. When we say verbal, it involves your mouth being used to produce sounds or anything. So it could be through speaking or talking or even singing or rapping. You can communicate verbally. Like for example, what I'm doing right now. And of course, you could also communicate non-verbally, which is through the form of written form. It could be through chat, through text messages, or even letters that you send to your friends or to anyone you care about. Next, please. All right. So next will be the nature of communication. So so we have three natures of communication. First is communication is a process. So when we say process, it involves what? It involves steps or it involves sequences that need to be done or actions that need to be done in order to achieve a particular goal or in this case is to communicate or to relay a message. So the second one is that communication occurs between two or more people. So in a communication, there should always be a speaker. Like for example, now I'm speaking to you. I'm relaying the message. I'm your sender, and you, the class, you guys are the receiver. You're the recipient of the message. And the third one is communication can be expressed through written or spoken words, actions, nonverbal, or both spoken words and nonverbal actions at the same time. So this is what I told you a while ago. Communication can be done verbally or non-verbally, or in some cases, it could be both. So far, any questions?
None, sir.
All right. So let's now proceed to the next topic, which is next week, elements of communication. So a while ago, I told you that communication nature, one of its nature is it's a process. So which means it involves actions or steps that or anything to be to achieve the communication process. And these are the elements of communication. So the first one is the speaker. When we say the speaker, he or she is the source of the information or the message. So, so like for example, I'm your speaker right now. I'm the one who initiates the communication process. I'm the one who's delivering you the message. And the second element would be the message or any information. It could be any ideas, knowledge, thought, or even my emotions or actions that you want to relay to a receiver. All right. So the third element is encoding. When we say encoding, it is the process of converting the message into words, action, or other forms that the speaker understands. So encoding happens when the speaker thinks about how he or she will deliver or convey his message, whether it be through talking, through chatting, or when you're thinking about like throwing something to your classmates to express or to communicate your anger to them, towards them, you're encoding. That's called encoding. So the fourth one is channel. So channel is the medium or the means, such as personal or non-personal, verbal or non-verbal, in which the encoded message is conveyed. So channel, these are the things that you use in order to successfully deliver your message. So channel could be two things. First is it could be a method, like for example, you communicate using your body language. Like for example, when you say that you're okay, you do this, you thumbs up. Or example, if you are mad, you smirk, or you erupt your eyes like that. So it could be a channel. Your eyes could be a channel, or a channel could also be a tool or any device or any gadget that you use to deliver a message. Like for example, cell phone, letters, a laptop. So channel could be literally everything. It could be anything that you use to communicate. So is next please. All right. So of course, the receiver. So the receiver is the recipient of the message or someone who decodes the message. So of course, in the communication, there always a receiver who decodes the message, which is another element of the communication. So the receiver will decode the message or interpret or interpret the message to understand what the speaker wants to tell. So next, of course, after he or she decoded the message, he he will provide a feedback, of course, and the feedback is any reaction, responses, or any information or actions provided by the receiver. Like for example, if I ask you as a speaker, if I ask you questions, you are you are tasked to respond or to answer. And next is the context. So the context is the environment where communication takes place. So simply it's the setting where the communication happens. Like for example, right now we are communicating online and the context or in the setting is at home. We are at home communicating. And the last element would be barrier. So barrier are the factors that affect the flow of communication. So barriers are the hindrance, are the hindrances that causes problems in the process of communication. It could be a noise, or in our case, it could be your internet connection. So it could be anything that negatively affects the communication. All right, am I clear? Please give me a heart react if you're still there and you're following. All right, so let's now proceed to the last. I know. First is so this is the communication process. This is the first you have there the receiver, the sender rather. The sender will encode a message. encode a message, and the message will be sent through a channel, and after the receiver receives the message, he or she will decode it and send a feedback. So that's basically the communication process. Next please. All right. So the last topic would be the functions of communication. So these functions are solely based on the sender's purpose. No? So first one is control. So to control is communication functions to control a behavior. So communication is used to regulate or to control, no? To control someone's attitude, someone's behavior, or someone's action. Like for example, a doctor, when a doctor is talking to his or her patient, and he tells what he or she should do or what he or she should drink in order to avoid uh, a certain sickness. So he's controlling his behavior and his actions. No? So the first functions of communication is to control. It is used by an authority, no, to direct someone under them. Like for example, what I've given. So the next one is social interaction. So communication allows individuals to interact with others. So this this would be the primary purpose, no, of communication. We communicate to to create social interaction, whether it be with your friends, with your family, to maintain bonds, to maintain intimacy, or to create relationship, or you even communicate with strangers, no, to form a new relationship with them. So the third function is motivation. So communication motivates or encourages people to live better. So communication also function as motivation is when the sender expresses his or her opinions, her thoughts, or her beliefs to someone or to a group of persons to influence them or to persuade them positively. Like, for example, in a graduation ceremony, when your valedictorian, when your class valedictorian deliver his or her speech to, to his or her fellow graduates, that could be motivation function. So the fourth function would be the emotional expression. So communication facilitates people's expression of their feelings and emotions. So this is simply when the sender wants to express his or her feelings, her emotion. Like for example, when you talk to your friends, when you vent to your friends about certain issues or certain problems that you've encountered and what you feel, you share it to them. That could be an emotional expression. And lastly, information dissemination. So communication functions to convey information. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm disseminating information to you, the the knowledge about communication, or it could be anything that it could be any communication process that involves disseminating information. So, all right. So are we are am I understood? Please give me a
Yes,
heart
sir.
react. if you don't have any questions, did you understand the lesson? All right. So before we proceed to our first individual activity, I have here questions that you can answer. Next, please. All right. So I have here two questions. Never mind the third question. It's just it's not below. It's not below. All right. So the first question is, can you imagine a day without communication or without communicating? Anyone? Yes, Miss Recluta, you're raising your hand.
Sir, for me, no. Because I can't imagine a day without me having to express myself in any way possible, especially when I have to say something or when I have to inform people about the things that I want to say to them. It is just so frustrating that I won't be able to say it to them just because I am unable. Especially that I am very talkative inside our house. That's it, sir.
Yes, thank you, Shaireen. That's correct. No, we always communicate every day, every single time. No, even when you're just at home and you're alone, you can you can also communicate through your phone, or even when you're just watching or reading a book, you're communicating with yourself. That could be possible as well. Next question is what do you think is the importance of communication? Anyone? Yes, Miss Balite?
Sir, I think communication is very important to everyone because without it, we will not be able to express ourselves and share our knowledge and also, yeah, communicate with other people.
Yes, that's correct. No, communication is very important. Like what I said earlier, we communicate to maintain relationship, to maintain bonds, intimacy, and to understand one another. So for your individual activity, next please. So I will be sharing a link in the chat box where you can finish or complete your individual task. Next, please, Rama. I know, no. So, so your individual task is there. I sent it in the chat box. You can open it, and if you already finished the task, you can comment done in the chat box. All right. So everybody is done. I will check your activity later. For your group activity, next please. So I will send a link for your links actually. So we will be using a breakout Zoom breakout rooms, no, for your group activity. So you will be utilizing Canva that so these are the links that I sent that you will be using for. So group one, the leader would be Miss Recluta, and group two, the leader is Miss Merlindes. Group three, Miss Ranyoko, and group five, lastly, is Miss Abaga. So you have to next please. So next please again. All right. So for your group activity, you will be making your own communication process. Like for example, this this is a communication process. You will be using any movies or any books or any stage plays that you've watched or that you know to create a communication process. Like for example, in this picture, we have here Harry Potter as a sender who encodes the message, and the channel would be his owl pet, Hedwig, and the receiver is Hermione, and she will be the one who will decode the message and send the feedback. So this is your group activity. You can help each other to create your own communication process. And after you have 5 to 10 minutes to complete this task. And after that, there should be two volunteers to explain your work. All right. You can chat done in the comment box if you already finished your work. All right. Right now that everyone is done and everyone has already presented their work, let's now proceed to a short quiz. Next, please. All right, for your quiz, again, I will be sharing a link, a Google Form link, where you will answer questions. That's the link provided there. In the, wait, let me find the link first. I will send it to the group. All right. So this is your quiz. All right. So comment done if you already finished the test, and I will be checking it after this class. All right. From what I can see, everyone got perfect scores, and some got one mistake and all, and that's all right. Right? It seems like you understood, understand the lesson for today. So to end this lesson, I'm giving you your assignment. Next, please. All right. your assignment, choose among the functions of communication, and given the function you chose, take a video of yourself while telling any scenario that have happened to you recently, which also involves communication process. Identify the elements of communication that are present in the given scenario that you are talking about and explain it briefly. So that's it for today. I hope you learned a lot about communication. Please give me a thumbs up if you all understand our lesson for today. All right, so that's all for today, class. Thank you for listening. All right, so I forgot that we have to take picture for our attendance. Miss Rama, please do the honor.
3, 2, 1, smile. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you,
Thank
Rama.
you
Thank you
po.
for assisting me today.
Bye, sir.
Goodbye,
Bye, sir.
class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.